Ladies and gentlemen, today, I'm sure you can already tell, I'm going to try something different. I just got done at the gym and I'm walking back to my car, which is about, I think just shy of a mile and a half away. So I'll have a good 20 minutes or so to do this. I certainly hope to be done way sooner than that. And I do want to apologize ahead of time if there's any kind of background noise. You know, it's kind of windy. Yeah, it's windy. But hoping to be able to somewhat manage the wind by just hitting pause when it starts getting too bad. We had one of those random come out of nowhere thunderstorms last night that the Midwest is pretty famous for. So I think this one is kind of what brought it in out of nowhere, and then we're basically towards the tail end of it. But in regards to this video, there's a lady I'm following on YouTube. She's in her 40s and she started a YouTube channel talking to people about, hey, don't worry about being older when you're starting a YouTube channel. There's an audience for everybody, basically, is what she's saying. And the funny thing is that I am that guy. I've been putting it off for quite a little while, and so this video basically is me forcing myself to just put out content and hoping that there are going to be a few people that would benefit from it. So without further ado, I'm going to let you know what this is about. And what it's about is that I'm going to once again put my body through something that it's typically not used to being put through, right? So in other words, if you really want to change, I'm a firm believer that the results that you're going to get are obviously going to be in 100% directly proportionate to how much of an effort you put into it. And yeah, it sounds simple, but it's not easy, right? Because if that was the case, everybody that's not where they want to be weight-wise or overall health-wise, they'd be doing it, they'd be figuring it out. There would be no unhealthy people. So yeah, Anton, you're not telling me anything new. Well, no, I'm not, obviously. And so what I do want to talk about is mindset, because ultimately, no matter what kind of coaching someone is doing, no matter the type of coaching that I'm doing, whether it's money related, relationship, health, whatever, you got to have the right mindset. So like I was talking about, your health mindset. I'm putting my body through something that I've never done before. I mean, I'm hoping that that's where I'm going to be at the end of it. I do have a goal that I want to achieve, and that's basically what the video is about. The video is you have some kind of a pain and you tell yourself and everybody else how much it hurts, how much you want to get rid of that pain, how much you want to change your life, whatever it is, but yet your actions are not there. So I'm not qualified to say why. Everybody's got different reasons, right? And the first thing I want to say is you're going to hear me talk about this a lot on this channel, about being picky, choosy, stingy with everything in life in general. Be picky about what you believe about your health. Be choosy about what you believe about how hard you can push your body and how far, right? Most people have never pushed themselves hard enough to where all of a sudden you tell yourself, oh shit, I'm in big trouble now. Think about it. When was the last time you pushed yourself that hard? Right? So that's why it's hard for people to achieve things, to accomplish things that they really want to achieve. I haven't put out a video about it yet. I've been thinking about doing that, but recently I was able to hit a personal best for extended fasting. I discovered keto and fasting a really long time ago. I would say probably about 10 to 12 years ago. And I first started with keto, and then as I was doing keto, I started getting less and less hungry. And then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm lasting a whole day without food. And then gradually I started lasting way longer than that. But my point is, I never thought in a million years I'd be able to last 8 days, just shy of 8 days, actually, fasting. Never. And my prior best before that was just shy of 5 days. It was like 116 hours, I want to say. And this time I went 187, somewhere in that neighborhood. I mean, it was unbelievable. I was literally shooting for 7 days, and then I exceeded that by quite a bit. And by the way, this is the part where it's going to be a little bit louder with the traffic. So I was obviously ecstatic. And you know, the other thing that happens when you hit your personal record, all of a sudden, you know something's doable. Like you're capable of achieving something that you never thought that you'd be able to achieve, right? So now, guess what? That gives you fuel for next time you try. And of course, it doesn't mean that you're going to succeed every time when you try, but it's proof of concept, right? The first time you get that big $5,000 check, $10,000 check, whatever the case is, from a big sale, from whatever it is that you've never had any kind of money like that, it's a huge motivator. But if you never hit these big stretch goals, as they call them, it's going to be extremely hard, if not impossible, honestly, to make any kind of meaningful progress. And so I want to challenge everybody that's watching this to sit down and reflect on how this goal setting and goal achieving things have gone for you in the past, right? And you can tell how you felt, right? It's either, oh man, this was amazing, it was like absolutely insane, this ecstatic, euphoric state like I did when I crushed it, versus prior to that, I was like, well, 5 days was a pretty decent accomplishment, but I felt like I could push myself more. And so the mindset that I want to talk to you about is the mindset of you decide on something, right? That is a good stretch goal. And literally, I mean, there's thousands of examples, but you know, burn the boats, burn the bridges, whatever it is, but you hit that goal or you die trying. And I think the best way that this can be talked about is through reaching certain health goals, right? So I'll tell you what the thing was with me and my 8-day fast. And I'm gonna make some more videos on this specific topic, but you can also research it yourself. And because of our diet in America, especially in the westernized world, from the last, I don't know, 70, 80 years ago, since the invention of the mega grocery stores, you know, like Walmart or whatever, because of that, our bodies are processing food totally differently now. And a lot of people, they're having a hard time losing weight. There's multitude of reasons, but one big one is called metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome basically means that your body is used to burning carbs for energy instead of fat, like God designed it to be. And so fat is the cleanest burning fuel that we could be burning our bodies for energy. On a daily basis, you need a certain amount of energy. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize how loud it gets with the traffic. So in the past, before all this processed garbage, man-made stuff that is poisoning our food right now, before that, it was all one ingredient foods, right? Like you're either eating meat or eggs or veggies and stuff like that, and there's nothing unnatural, nothing man-made in it. And now, I don't know, probably 90% of the stuff has a bunch of garbage. Do some research, but probably like almost a third of the food here in the United States is banned in Europe and other parts of the world. It's absolutely disgusting, but it's obviously a subject for a different video. My point is, our bodies are now, in the last 7-8 decades, have totally gotten used to burning carbs for energy. And the reason that's happened is because it's so easy to get food, and usually the type of food that we get is full of carbs, full of simple sugars, processed carbs, whatever, that we keep feeding our bodies that kind of garbage. And the thing about it is, it disappears quickly, right? Like if you eat a bunch of rice, if you eat a bunch of bread, if you eat a bunch of pasta, oh, that's a nice shade. I think I might even sit down for a second here. So, well, as soon as I sat down, the wind picked up. So anyway, when you eat that stuff, within 2 hours, you're hungry again. But your body knows it's easy for it to get what it wants, right? It's gonna yell at you, hey, I'm hungry, feed me. And you're like, okay, here you go. And by the way, that's the other massive benefit of fasting, is telling your body, shut up. You're not hungry, stop throwing a little tizzy fit. You're being a little baby about it, right? Again, mindset and mentality, and not running away from some kind of a pain as soon as it gets to you, right? Like not trying to fix whatever pain you have immediately. We're like, overall as a population, we're just gotten so soft. Topic for another video again. But the point is, when you're doing this fasting thing, it's mental. Every time I've broken a big fast, it's been extremely mentally exhausting. So remember I said you got to get to a point like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. Well, that's what it gets to. It's like you're basically in a situation where it's like, I definitely need to eat something. I can't take it anymore. I'm really struggling. I'm suffering, whatever the case is. But it's from a mental exhaustion standpoint. After the third day, typically, for most people on a fast, your hunger disappears, And you can go weeks without being hungry after that one, big, call it like a big hill that you climb over. Once you get over it, man, then it's like smooth sailing, right? So the reason I did my 8-day fast is because I thought, and I haven't been to a doctor, I haven't talked to anybody, but I knew, I kind of had a feeling that, well, it wasn't a feeling, I was actually measuring my numbers, but it was hard for me to get in ketosis, right? So basically the theory is, if you want to get in ketosis, eat a bunch of fat, like 70% plus from your total daily calories that you're consuming should be coming from fat source. 75, I want to say, even, and very, very low carb diet, very few calories from carbs. So I was doing that, and I wasn't getting in deep ketosis. And basically there's different levels of being in ketosis. You can do some research on this. I'll make videos later. I mean, I have a bunch of videos I got to put out there, but I wasn't getting in ketosis. It was really hard for me. And going back to the metabolic syndrome thing, is you have your body so used to consuming carbs that it literally is throwing a major tizzy fit when you try to start changing your body's mindset, right? Think of your body as a little kid that is literally throwing a big tizzy fit because you're telling it, hey, guess what? From now on, we're no longer going to be feeding you carbs 4, 5, 6 times a day. You're now going to start eating high quality food, right? And the little child is going to have a freak out. For those of you that have kids, or that about kids, they're going to be like, no way. Because, kids, I mean, it's super realistic example, because that's basically my son, right? And when he was little, good luck trying to change him to do any of that stuff. And he's kind of still that way. But your body is like, nah, I'm not going to let go of that. I'm used to it. I want to burn sugar for energy. And so there's a big struggle that a lot of bodies, they just don't want to let go. It's just so easy and convenient. And the fasting is what breaks your body. It's literally, I've never been around drug addicts. I know nothing about it other than from what I've seen in movies and, just from hearing other people talk about it. But apparently they put you basically like in a room, right? Like in a jail cell or facility or whatever. And you stay there for 2-3 weeks without ingesting any of that garbage in your body. And apparently miracles happen when you break somebody's addiction that way. I don't care what it is. If you're smoking cigarettes, if you're an alcoholic, if you like a lot of kids these days, if you play games and whatnot, like video games, that's it. And there's a certain time period that it takes. I'm sure it varies for different people, but the point is, you get over a certain point and then you're in the clear, right? So with me, my whole mindset was, I'm going to get into a deep ketosis, and I don't care what it takes, how long it takes. I want to see my numbers, right? Like with a goal, it's got to be clearly defined, and there's a way to measure how deep in ketosis you are. And so I started doing that. And they say that typically the average person who is not insulin resistant is what they call it, right? Insulin resistant means that, I'm probably going to butcher it, look it up though, but your body is basically, what I was saying, is wanting sugars for energy, and it's hell-bent on not using anything else or not using as much of the good stuff. And you literally have to break it by putting it on a timeout from its addiction, okay? So that's essentially what a fast is. And when I did my 5-day fast, I didn't get into that deep of a ketosis. And so that was the thing that was driving me and motivating me this time around. I was like, no matter what, I'm going to hit my numbers. I'm going to go deep. I'm going to go real deep. And just to give you an example, they say that you're basically in a clinical ketosis if you're at like 0.5, I don't know how to pronounce the measurement, but it's mmol, millimoles or something like that. And that's technically saying that you're burning fat for energy, but it's very, very low. It's not a whole lot. And they say that you can go as high as 10 before it starts getting like a concern. There's a situation where you can actually get this thing called ketoacidosis, where it's actually bad for you to be that high in a ketosis. I haven't really researched it because I don't think I'll ever get there. And for me, a good range is somewhere like in the 2.5 to 6. So 3 to 3.5 days in, I believe, I still hadn't gotten to where I wanted to get with my ketosis, with the numbers. So that's what drove me. I just kept pushing and pushing, and I was ready at day 7. But if you were at your goal, and this is the David Goggins mentality, if you're at your goal, he says that you have 40% more left in the tank. So think about it. It's insane, right? According to him, and of course he's a freak of nature, but I could have gone another 3 days basically. And so I was like, no way. But I want for myself, I want to push hard, and I want to get to as far as I can. And that's what I did. And so this is what this whole video is about. I want you to set a goal and reach out to me, comment in the sections, come to my school community, which is school.com life supercharged /life supercharged / about. Sorry, I butchered it. It's so new, but I'll put it in my description. But anyway, come join my community, and we have a lot of people there that are having these kind of conversations, and a lot of knowledge is being shared there. But comment in the section here. I'm always responding to every comment, and I don't mind sharing anything. But I hope this inspires some of you to rededicate yourself to some big stretch, audacious goals, and to hit them, because the feeling is amazing. And that, in my opinion, is the only way that you're going to get to where you want to get. And I don't know what lights fire under people's asses, but I mean, you got to do some research on extremely successful people. And I always give examples with like athletes, like Jordan and Kobe. They're like obsessed. Like, you got to get obsessed. You got to get so mad. Find some anger. I don't care. Like, get pissed that you're so overweight, and you've been so overweight for so long, and you're just sick and tired of it, right? Because again, there's a difference between that kind of fire and then you telling people like, wow, I'm overweight, I'm really mad about it, and then you don't do anything about it. You got to find a different kind of motivation. You got to dig deeper somehow. But for me, the easiest thing has been just to see and study those kind of people, and see like Goggins, right? Jocko, all these guys, look them up. And a lot of people there's got to be something inside you that says it's okay for someone to get in my face and yell at me like a drill sergeant style. A lot of people are sensitive these days. I'm sorry, but you need someone to like basically grab you and shake you up and be like, listen, this is what we're going to do, and I want you to hit that goal regardless of what happens, short of putting yourself in some kind of health jeopardy, or so. But that's the mentality you need to have. And reach out to me, please. Comment in the videos, whatever. But let's get to crushing these goals. Because with my 8 days, I got up to like 5.2, I want to say, and that was phenomenal. My ketosis, and it was amazing. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on a 5-day fast. And the thing that I was going to say that this video is about really is, for 5 days, not only am I going to be fasting, but I'm also going to be going to the gym and exercising regularly, because my ketosis slowly over time, even though I've been eating correctly, has been going down ever since my fast. So I want to do another fast and see at this point if I can get back into ketosis a lot faster than I did the first time around. Because once you reset your body, it has a tendency to go back to what's comfortable, right? It's like a rubber band kind of thing, or imagine something that you can stretch it, but then over time it just shrinks. That's what your body wants to go back to, its old ways. So every now and then you got to slap it, wake it up, and be like, hey, I don't think so. We're not going back to the old ways, and this is what I'm going to do. But my fasts are going to be stretched over longer periods of times, ideally, and they're going to be shorter fasts, so I don't have to put myself through this, because it's not easy. Honestly, it's not easy. But once you break your body, then it's a lot easier for you to go back and and go right back on track. If you see your body starting to drift, you know, you don't have to make huge adjustment. So that's what this whole video is about, and I'll keep you guys posted. But for 5 days, not only am I going to be fasting, and normally when I fast, I kind of take it easy with exercise, but this time I'm going to be fasting and I'm going to be exercising. Probably I'm shooting for 4 days this week, if not 5. But at the very minimum, it's going to be 3 days. So between 3 and 5 days, and I'm going to keep you posted every day with updates. Hopefully this is helpful, guys, but comment, like, share if you feel so obliged, and I really appreciate all your support. Talk to you later.